What it is, everybody, is Master Lee back on Context and Perspective. We are here. We are back. Remember, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Everybody good? Everybody is good, man. Let's get to this work. Hope everybody good. Hope everybody staying healthy out there. Let's talk about it. A verb. A verb, a verb, a verb. One thing about a verb, he is the villain. He knows how to create controversy. He's been doing it for years now. One thing about him, he knows how to market, piss people off, and get them excited all at the same time, right? So let's talk about it. He's talking about P. P is watering down battle rap. He continues to book DMV artists, and they all sound alike, and that's what's watering down the URL. This is Verb. This is how Verb feels. Now, to give Verb his credit, he did say it would be the same if it was a bunch of Midwest artists. He did say that. So I'm putting that out there because Verb did say that. But Jack Boy Maine don't give a shit. One thing about Jack Boy Maine is if he feels any kind of disrespect, he's going to come up in the conversation and say what he has to say. Jack Boy Maine is like when you hear a crew get into some beef or something in the neighborhood, and you know that it's going to be that one guy that's going to be involved. Like, you know that one guy is going to have something to say about the situation, and he's going to be in the middle of that controversy no matter what. That's Jack Boy Maine. Jack Boy Maine. That's him. So Jack Boy, he comes up in a conversation and he says how he feels, right? And listening to them go back and forth, both of them made some good points. And it just kind of made me think about the era that Verb came up in, and then the era that Jack Boy came up in, right? Jack Boy came up in that era with the Goonies. I don't know if y'all remember the Goonies, but it was a bunch of them. It was a bunch of Goonies. You had Ryder, you had New Jersey Twerk, you had Glue Easy, you had Cuban, right? I believe Mac Mel might have been a Goonie at one point. Jack Boy, it was a bunch of them. I can't even name all of them off the top of my head. But out of all of them, to me, Jack Boy, Twerk, and Ryder stood out. Right, y'all can say what y'all want, but Ryder had some viral moments coming up. So I thought that them three were going to be the superstars. And at one point, the DMV did force Smack to come over to that side and feature a lot of their artists. Go back and look at Survivor Series. I think he did 2 Survivor Series in Virginia, I believe. For a while, a lot of them cards were in the DMV, so I got to give URL and Smack that credit for coming over to this side and giving DMV artists love. Now, with A Verb, that movement was a little bit different because they laid a foundation. They laid a foundation when URL was just coming up. So they kept lights on. They kept bills paid, right? They kept car notes paid, right? They kept people's kids in school and shit like that. That's what they had going on. Not saying that it's still not going on now, but URL was way more established now than they were back then. So when A Verb came, he ushered in that whole second Midwest movement, because I want to say second Midwest movement because from what I remember, I'm still a little bit of a young buck, but from what I remember, you got to show love to the Quest McCodys and the Marv Ones and the Midwest Miles, because we know that Midwest Miles saw Lux early on, right? And then he was able to ride some more of that wave once Verb came and rapped on that corner with SB. Now, of course, you have Hitman, you have Young Ill, you have Calico, you have Big T. I'm not going to lie. That's a strong roster. X Factor. Right? So you had like a strong roster coming up, especially after Verb rapped on that corner. Now, with Verb rapping on that corner, you get other cards. And then you get Midwest Massacre. And Smack comes to Chicago. And he looks at that smoke in Chicago. Let's not forget, that's where you get that famous Hitman, right? Violin bar. Him versus Big T. You get Verb versus Midwest Miles. So just like URL had to come over to the DMV later on in their history, back in their old history, right? When you look back in the encyclopedia, right? They did go to the Midwest, right? Remember Calico? Ain't nobody going to die, Smack. Y'all remember Calico? Smack, ain't nobody going to die, Smack. Come on down to Detroit. So URL does have that history of going back and forth. So I have to say that it's some commonality when it, is that a word? Commonality? They have some things in common when it comes to URL coming to this side over here in the DMV and URL going over there to the Midwest and seeing what was going on over there. The difference is that Midwest movement laid a strong foundation. With Verb, I think Verb is kind of looking at this from like an old man perspective to a certain extent, right? Because Verb looking at it like, listen, man, y'all have it way easier than what we did. And I understand his point, right? The structure is probably way different now than what it was back when Verb and Calico and all of them was coming up. The pay was probably totally different, right? Getting your flights booked and your hotel rooms booked and everything actually happening the right way back when Verb and them was coming up was probably totally different. Totally different from now, where the structure, it seems like it's a little bit way more organized than what it was back then. Like I said, back then they were laying a foundation. It's almost like, any of y'all ever go back to y'all old high schools, right? Y'all ever go back to y'all old high schools and the newer generation just got a bunch of new fly shit, right? They got tablets, right? They don't have projectors no more. Back when you was in school, you had like real projectors where you had to put the little clear shit on there and the shit pop on the screen. They don't have none of that no more. They actually got like whiteboards and shit. They got slick shit. When you go back to your high school, like me, I played ball, right? Every time I go back to my high school now, my old high school, I just be in awe because look, the varsity jerseys are now the JV jerseys. And the varsity jerseys are super fly now. They got the slick fonts and shit on them. And they got slick warm-ups and all of that. But back when I was playing, I sound like Verb. Back when I was playing, our warm-ups was trash. Our warm-ups was trash. Now you go back, and the new generation just got all of this shit. Everybody nicer to the new generation, right? Everybody nicer to the new generation. Oh, little Johnny, you can do this. Back when you was in school, teachers were saying anything to you, right? And that's kind of how Verb is looking at it with this new generation. He like, y'all can choke, and y'all still going to get battles. Verb, like, imagine if I choked against SB on that corner. I wouldn't be here today. And that's how Verb is looking at it, right? Verb is looking at it like, imagine if I choke versus Math. That's how he looking at it. When today, it's way more lenient when it comes to choking and just the overall meaning of battles is different now, right? So let me know how y'all feel in the comments below, man. That's how I look at it. Let me know how y'all measure up both eras. Technically, I already know people who are real battle rap historians and shit like that. You gonna ride with that Midwest movement regardless, because that whole movement was a game changer. That was a golden era of battle rap right there, right? And it's hard to capture that on camera all over again. So let me know how y'all feel about that. Remember, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Everybody good. Everybody is good, man.